Hello, hello, everybody. Stephanie Zima here, my way of life coaching. And hold, please. We are connecting to Instagram right now, right here. Here we are. Okay, let me flip on the comments so I can see who's coming in. If you're coming in, let me know where you are tuning in from. If you're watching this on the replay, let me know that you've been watching this on the replay, because emotional mastery is what every network marketer, every social seller, every online entrepreneur, everyone who is in sales, everyone who has a job, every mother, basically everyone who is living needs to have. And this is something that is near and dear to my heart because I am someone that had to learn it the hard way. And it comes in super handy, and I need to talk about it because it will not only help you in your business, it will also help you in your life. And that is what Walk It Free all stands for, right? It's being able to live a life that we don't regret, taking steps towards the life we won't regret through healing, through connecting, through mindset mastery. And what exactly is mindset mastery? It is being able to identify our thoughts, being able to understand what emotions we are feeling while we are having these thoughts, and then being able to validate these emotions or work with them and put them in the right category, realign them, and play with them, and then create the life that we want to live, right? And whether or not it is by building an online business so that we can have the funds that will allow us to create that life, or it's by us actually living the life right now while we are creating the funds, because that is part of what's really super important as well, that we are actually living the life right now. We're not waiting until, oh my gosh, we're going to have this $1 million in our pocket. We're having to enjoy life right now. So having said that, what I want to tell you a little bit is the emotional mastery, right? Let's find out how this is, because when we first start, let me get my notes up here for a second. Sorry, hold please, hold please, hold please. Emotional mastery is something that we just really need, because when we have emotional mastery, that means we are in control of the emotions. That means we can become powerful again. There's so much anxiety in the world right now. Why is there anxiety? It's because everybody feels like we are floating around. We have no more control. AI is coming in. AI is anxiousness provoking, right? People are like scared and overwhelmed and just feeling the pressure of everything coming in at the same time. And it's because you are not controlling the emotions are controlling you. When you are controlled by your emotions, it can have really bad outcomes for you, right? One of the outcomes, for example, is rejection. When you are constantly running around angry, for example, people are not giving you the attention, giving you the love, giving you the the feelings that you're really after. And this is a really big topic, and I don't want to make it too long, too wide, too crazy, too unrealistically. But my main goal here is to have you guys move from doubt, meaning I don't know what I'm supposed to do with everything. I feel unsure. You know, I feel maybe a little frustrated with my outline that I don't have the information. Maybe I feel frustrated with social media because the algorithms they're always changing, something new all the time. Maybe I feel upset with having fallen for a network marketing opportunity and now not seeing the results, right? And with all that frustration that is coming up at us all over the place, maybe the husband is not on board with you, maybe your friends are making fun of you, maybe other people are saying things that you know you may not like, or that make you feel bad one way or another. With with these emotions, with these frustrations, if we don't know how to ground ourselves through it, what happens is you are going to quit. You are going to stop. You are going to think that you're not good enough. You are going to not reach the goal that you had in mind originally. Staying grounded and confident when the sales drop, for example, if you have emotional mastery, you're still going to continue to go, even if your sales are not there yet. When people reject you, you're going to be okay, because when you have emotional mastery, it's for them and it's not you, right? And when things are uncertain, you are also going to feel fine. Fear is not going to stop you when you have emotional mastery. Frustration is not going to stop you when you have emotional mastery. And self-doubt will not keep you from doing the things that you need to do to create the life you want to live, right? Taking the actions. It will not stop you if you have emotional mastery. The problem today in today's world is that we do not have emotional mastery anymore. And the reason why we don't have it is because it's actually something, and I tell you, something that you have to learn when you're an adult. It's something that if you are lucky enough, maybe your parents have taught you, but maybe your parents also haven't taught you. Let me tell you a quick story about that. Years ago, when I first started working, I was working really hard. I was all over the place. I was trying to please my boss. And I was in a company back then that was run by Germans. And if you know anything about the Germans, it's like Kopf runter arbeiten. Yeah. It's head first, put your head down, and do not care about anything but your work. Do not pay attention but your work. And I did that, right? And of course, because I was very willing to take on more work and more work, I personally was trying to get approval from my boss. I was trying to be liked. I was trying to do good so I could get the atta girl. I was doing all these things, but what I also did is I was upsetting my coworkers. I was upsetting people that could not understand why I didn't take 5 seconds to connect with them. And I was getting more and more and more angry. I was feeling frustrated. I was feeling more and more frustrated, right? And that frustration I let out on, that's what we usually do, the people that I love most, right? My family and my kids back then. I was screaming. I was not a nice person, right? Inside and out. I mean, and I say I wasn't a nice person. Maybe I'm too hard on myself. I was a nice person, but I was frustrated. And you guys know that if you're a mom and you are dealing with a lot of pressure, you are probably know exactly what I'm talking about. There are moments when you are shorter with your kids than you want to be, right? There's moments when maybe my husband didn't get the best of me. Maybe my friends didn't get the best of me. And what I can explain all these things away, but then at the same time, what was lacking? Emotional mastery was lacking. I was lacking ability to set boundaries, ability to ask for what I needed. I was lacking the fact that just awareness, really. I mean, lacking awareness, lacking the fact that I had to learn to grow myself up. I had to learn that I could not act like this, okay? And it sounds really ridiculous right now when I talk about it as an adult and as a coach, but this was reality, right? This was reality for me. Emotional mastery was something that I had to relearn as an adult. I had to learn this. Now, how do you learn emotional mastery? What exactly does that mean? Emotional mastery is when you can recognize the emotion for what it is. It's anger. It is I'm tired. It is I am hungry. It is I'm frustrated. It is I'm overwhelmed. It is I feel anxious. It is I feel sad, right? When you start recognizing what emotion it actually is, and anger, for example, and this is what it was for me. I was so angry all the time. I was so angry. But anger is an emotion that actually masks other emotions. What was underneath the anger was a complete different emotion. It was actually sadness. It was sadness. It was hopelessness. It was anxiousness. I was overwhelmed. I was exhausted at that time, completely running on empty, almost on burnout mode, because everybody wanted me to give more, 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 more. And I wanted that approval because I thought I needed it. I thought I needed it for survival, right? I felt I had abandonment wounds that needed to be healed. And those abandonment wounds I tried to fill with approval from my boss back then and from other people, from my family, from everybody, basically, all the narcissistic people and toxic people in my life that took advantage of me trying to give more, 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 more. So I'm not sharing this to blame people because it was not their fault. It was my fault. Okay. It was my fault for not putting in the brakes. It was my fault for not having emotional mastery, meaning figuring out how do I stop it? Now, how do I stop it? How do I set a boundary? How do I be aware? And it's always first step comes clarity. You need to have clarity, whether or not it is in your network marketing business, whether or not it is in your content creation business, in your influencer business, in your real estate business, in your insurance business, in whatever job you have to have first and foremost, you have to have awareness. You have to know, hey, wait a minute, there is a problem. There's a problem and there's emotion, and this is how I feel. Clarity is important. The second step to emotional mastery is then to understand, where is this coming from? Where is that emotion coming from? Why do I feel this way? Now, when you understand why you're feeling this way, you can actually decide, is this an accurate emotion or is it not an accurate emotion? So, for example, what do I mean by that? Is it a right or is it wrong, right? Some people can argue and say, well, wait a minute, every emotion is the right emotion because it's valid. Our emotions are valid. And see, here's the thing. We've been taught, or a lot of us have been taught, that our emotions are valid. We are validly, so it's okay to feel this way. Yes, it's okay to feel this way, but it's not okay to act in every way you want to. It's not. I actually had that conversation just now with my kiddos, explaining and teaching them. See, they're lucky enough they have actually a coach as a mom, so that can help them through this right now and right here. So they don't have to deal with this when they're adults. But it is not okay to always act out. It's not okay to always behave in a manner that is not acceptable in society norm, right? You have to learn how to control your emotions in a certain way for a certain setting. Now, does that mean that you are not allowed to feel sad or frustrated? No, you're definitely allowed to feel sad and frustrated because those are cues. See, and here's where the big problem was. The reason why I was acting so angry is because I ignored those cues. I ignored the, hey, I am sad. I ignored the, hey, I feel so tired. Hey, I feel, come here. Hang on, my doggy's crying. Come on, you can be here. You guys want to meet her? Okay, here's a little troublemaker. See, there you go. You want to meet her? There. Okay, for later. She's a Velcro dog, just in case you guys need to know. She's a Velcro dog. She needs to always be by mom, meaning me. I never even wanted a little dog, but here she is. So anyway, so every emotion is valid, and you need to make sure you understand the cues, right? So when you are feeling sad, or you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're feeling anxious, those are cues. Those are cues that you need to then find a solution for. You need to find and gain clarity around the origin of it. Then you need to find out, is it valid? Meaning, yes, it's valid, but see, if your boss yells at you, for example, it is not valid to feel angry in that moment. You have to learn how to be coachable. You have to learn how to accept whatever he or she is saying. You do not have to agree, but you have to accept it, right? If the police officer on the street is holding you, or telling you something, you also have to respect that, right? That's just some things are have to be. That's just what it is. So here's the thing: find it as a cue, then decide, did I behave wrong in this matter? Should I have pulled over to the side of the road when I was asked? Should I have stopped surfing the internet while I was supposed to be working? You know what I'm saying, right? You have to fight, you have to evaluate. Was it right or was it wrong? If you know it was right, but you still felt really sad, cue again. Okay, that's a cue. Why did I feel so sad? Maybe there are some abandonment wounds that are underneath. Maybe there is some fear of rejection. There's something else that needs to be worked through. Now, this is where it's valuable that you have that cue, because now you can become curious. You can figure out and dive a little bit deeper. And yes, you do have to dive a little bit deeper to figure out what really is going on for you so that you can stop the trigger. Okay? Because how do you become a master of your emotions? Not by numbing. And that is what many of you do. If you have procrastination, for example, right? You're trying to take reach outs, you're trying to sell some stuff, you're trying to do the things, and you're finding yourself in procrastination. You're finding yourself not able to do the things that you need to do. They are not because you don't know what you're supposed to do. You know exactly what you have to do. You know you have to reach out to people. You know you have to ask them the question. You know you have to tell them, this is your offer. This is what you're selling. This is, X, Y, and Z. You know what you have to do, but you're not doing it because you're procrastinating, because there's something in the shadows. There's something in the shadows that are not showing you or telling you, like there's something in the shadows that you're afraid of. There's something that when you procrastinate, you have learned that if I'm not paying attention to it, I am probably going to avoid that, meaning the pain is going away, right? So emotional mastery on the other side is when you start realizing the triggers and the cues, and you watch, and you do this by paying attention to your patterns and then identifying, hey, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? Once you have that and you have evaluated right, wrong, maybe you're just frustrated because you don't have the tools. Maybe you're frustrated because you don't have the skills. Maybe you're frustrated because you don't believe in yourself. There's a gazillion different answers, and only you are going to be able to decide and say what exactly it is. But that's what you have to do, because when you then fix that origin trigger, out of the sudden, you're starting to feel better. Okay. That's when you go from doubting, maybe I'm not able to do this, to I think I could if I X, Y, and Z do certain things. And then from that point, when you say, maybe I could, now you start acting. See, and when you then start moving into the direction of whatever it is, whether or not it's lead generation, recruiting, duplication, customer service, it doesn't matter what it is. Once you start doing that and you start taking action, you are able to then see results. Okay. But you're not ever seeing results if you don't take action. And the action is not being taken as long as you are still stuck in your emotions and you're not working through them. That is where it's at. So from doubt to confidence, I don't think I can do it. Where's that come from? Why do I think I can't do that? Who told me that I wasn't able to do that? See, all I want you to do is become curious. I want you to start thinking deeper. I want you to start evaluating, because see, it's such a shame that you have this big dream. It's such a shame that you want to do this business, but you're not taking the actions. You're not doing it. You're not recruiting. You're not talking to people. You're not connecting with people. You're not doing it. And so what's left is that you're sitting there and thinking, I'm a failure. See? Someone, whoever told you back then, or you believe that they said it, said you're not good enough. And now you believe them. When in fact, that is not the case. You are definitely good enough. You're definitely skilled enough. You are definitely able. You just need to become aware of your emotions. You need to be able to set your boundaries. And see, when you start having that belief, right? Meaning you, let's say you had sadness, for example, and that showed up in anger. When you recognize that the anger, the throwing, the yelling, the being frustrated, when you start realizing that that anger was actually sadness and you fix the sadness, meaning you understand why you were sad and now you're like you're finding a solution for that sadness, and the sadness now is being processed and healed, right? When you start recognizing that and you fix it, the anger goes away. And now you have a door open. You are able to walk through that door and you're able to work with that and have a complete new outcome, a complete new life, a complete new quality of life. And isn't that what we want, right? When we talk about freedom, when we talk about wanting to live a life that we want, it's not all about money. It's about actually living a life that we find and be happy with, that we can have a day where we say, yes, our business is still not where we want it to be. We are still not a millionaire last time I checked, but that's okay because we had a great day. We become happy, we become satisfied, we become content, right, with what and where we are. And that, my friends, is a real goal. That is where we are walking it free, where we can really have a system that we can chip away on our to-do list, that we can be very clear on what is going to be happening within the next quarter, where we are right now, you know, and that's the opposite of what I see happening all over the place. Right now, what I see is people that are not having results, are not taking action online. They are scrolling on the internet. They are scrolling and actually, I can see it on my own experiences, how it messes with the algorithms, right? Right now, my algorithms are all messed up because what I did after my daughter's surgery, I was surfing the net. I was numbing out, right? Mm-hmm. I was numbing out. I was doing things that I probably should have not done online, and I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. And what happened to my reach? My reach online on social media plummeted. It's like barely anything right now. So I have to reset the algorithm. And it's just, can I beat myself down right now? I could say, oh my gosh, all my followers, all my views and everything is like nobody's connecting, whatever. I don't care because I know the name of the game. I know the name of the game. I know that if I don't use the proper words, I know if I don't use, the proper niche, if I don't spread my message in a way that is good for the algorithms, then I just won't be shown anywhere. And you know what? That is also the best news ever. Because if you're messing up, if you are not that great, right? If you're just starting out and you're like, you don't even know what you're doing, and you're so scared that other people are going to judge you or that something is going on, it's okay because they don't see you anyway. So whatever, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't really matter. So 25 minutes. I think that's it. That's what it is. Mindset, emotional mastery is super important so that when you are a network marketer, an online entrepreneur of some sort, a woman in business, if you are maybe a content creator, maybe you are an affiliate marketer, a social seller, anyone with an online business, if you do not have emotional mastery, you are going to struggle. If you do have emotional mastery, you are going to be so much happier doing your DMO, your daily mode of operations, because you are clear, you know with confidence what you're supposed to accomplish that day. You know with confidence what you're supposed to accomplish tomorrow and next week and the month. And you are going to be able to plug away which in that case, see, what does this clarity do for you? This clarity will allow you to feel happy right now with today's performance, even though you may not have earned $1 million or $1,000 for that matter, whatever your number is, right? It's important that you learn to be in the moment. It's important that you learn how to set boundaries without the guilt. That's emotional mastery. When you set boundaries without the guilt, that allows you to actually work in the nooks and crannies of your day, because many of you are not working in the nooks and crannies of the day. Many of you are hustling, upsetting everybody around you, and you are still not making any money. And so now you're like, oh, I'm not making any money. Maybe they were all right. And here you are doubting again. When in fact, you could say, hey, listen, I'm going to be super organized. I'm going to reach out to, I'm going to just say 10 to 20 to 30 to 50, whatever your number is, people a day. I'm going to do it at that time, and I'm going to do it at that time, and I'm going to do it at that time. And now I'm going to communicate to my family and my kids, mommy is going to work for 15 minutes on her phone at that time. And then you have enough emotional mastery that you discipline yourself to actually do that. If you do that consistently every single day, trust me, you will make money. Trust me, you will have results. But guilt is coming in from the shadows and saying, hey, wait a minute, should we really do that? Maybe we shouldn't do that, right? Then you don't do it that day. You don't do it tomorrow, because then tomorrow procrastination comes out of the woodworks and says, we're actually kind of tired today. We shouldn't really be doing that. We'll just do it tomorrow. Now you already have 2 days that you didn't do the work. Trust me, I know that because I've been there too. This is an ongoing game where you basically track your performance. If you're already to that level, you're going to track your performance and you start recognizing, wait a minute, I didn't do any work yesterday. I didn't do any work day before yesterday and the day before that day. Yeah. And once you realize that, once you start understanding that you are actually not doing the work the way your brain wants to tell you you are, once you start realizing that, the emotions that come with that, those need to be dealt with, okay? But that's where your power lies, because see, when we feel bad about our emotions, it's because we think we cannot control them. But your thoughts control your emotions. Your thoughts then control the emotions, and the emotions control your actions. If you feel great, if you're excited, if you have momentum, of course you're going to do the things, right? You're going to do all the things. You are doing your recruiting, you're doing your duplication, you're probably talking to your customers, you're doing all the things that you need to be doing. You're posting, you're holding events, whatever it is that you need to do, but you're doing it when you feel good about it. And therefore, you are seeing the results. So your thoughts are creating emotions. Your emotions are going to create your actions, and your actions are going to create your results. Now, did you know, best news ever, you can actually change your thoughts. You can reframe your thoughts kind of from, I don't think I'm good at it. I don't think I can do that, to how could I be good at it? Or how could I be doing that? Right? Become curious, step into your curiosity, step into your playfulness, heal whatever was holding you back. If somebody was telling you that you should be playing less, or you should be quieter, or you should not be as loud, if somebody was telling you that, remember, it was on them. They didn't want you to be loud because they needed quiet. Okay? It wasn't about you at all. You are worth it. You are good enough. You are capable for whatever is in your heart, that dream that you have, that thoughts of what you can become. There was a reason why you did what you did. There was a reason why you started doing the job, okay? Well, the business that you got into. There's a reason for it. And there's probably, if you're really honest with yourself, there's a deep down reason that you do not admit to yourself because you're afraid to. don't be afraid of your own emotions, right? Don't be afraid to say, I want to be. See, you know what I want to be? I'm going to tell you what I want to be. I have this deep down desire to become like a Tony Robbins. And every single time I say that, every single time I say I want to become like a Tony Robbins, I cringe just a little bit. And the reason why I cringe is because I was told as a child when I put on shows for people, I was told as a child that I was too loud and I was, too crazy and too ambitious with all my thoughts. And mainly I was too loud, right? Even though, like I said, I'm introverted, but I was very too loud. And now when I think about it, I'm like, I still want to be like Tony Robbins, but I will have to heal that you are too loud. And that is what I've been working on for the whole time with my speaking, with my training, with my, every one of us has something that we're needing to work on and heal. Because when we grew up, people see, my parents never said that because they didn't believe in me. They did believe in me. I'm pretty sure that they believed in me, and I'm pretty sure that they wanted the best for me. But for their perception, in their perception, they thought I was too loud, right? In that moment, I was too loud. But as a kid, you amplify what people say to you, and you are feeling certain things so much bigger. And if they are not being put into context, if they're not being reworked as an adult, then those old beliefs, those old feelings that came with those hurts, they are not healed. They are just stuck there. And that's how you feel stuck in your adult life right now, because you're still stuck in that old feeling. But you have to rework that. So that is emotional mastery, and you must have that in order to succeed. Can you imagine you are building a business and you're getting offended every single time somebody quits? Let's say you have 10 employees, right? Or 20 or 100. Every time somebody quits, you're going to feel offended because you're feeling like they don't like you. That's not going to be good, right? That's not going to be possible. You have to find out a way to deal with those emotions yourself. Or can you imagine your customers are returning the freight, or they're returning the product because they don't like it, or they had a different opinion? You cannot always be feeling bad about that. So emotional mastery is an absolute must for you to succeed. Okay, I talked long enough. This was now way longer than I thought, and it's time to have dinner with my kiddos. All right.